Hey, welcome in, everybody. This is the Big Chief Show on a Sunday morning. We are midway through the Week 15 slate of games. Glad to have you guys on board. I'm Fred Davis. This is my the man, the myth, the legend, the one, the only. Rocking all. He's raided out from head to toe today, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because he's excited. His boys took care of business. Kicked off what's been a very underwhelming first four games of the Week 15 slate. Outside, unless you're a Bengal or Viking fan, which that was by far the best game that we've seen of the four games thus far. And we know that you're not a Viking fan, one Mr. Mike Babbo. And I'll tell you what, let's put some respect on Jake Browning's name. How about that? That last drive, you had no Jamar Chase for the entire fourth quarter. T. Higgins, who's been kind of, banged up all year long. I'll tell you what, did he make himself some money yesterday with basically going above and beyond and just being that guy? So for a guy that's going to be a free agent this offseason, I'll tell you what, he came through in a huge way yesterday.
Oh, Jake Browning also really picked up the slack too, because he had a bad interception. I think it was in the third quarter. They were down as much as 17-3 in that game.
Yeah, they were.
And he picked himself up by his bootstraps, had a nice touchdown to T. Higgins. Just drove them down the length of the field to tie that game. And then, of course, Kevin O'Connell just overthinks things too much. They couldn't make it on second and inches. They couldn't make it on third and inches. They couldn't make it on fourth and inches in their first possession in the overtime. And they just gave the ball to Cincinnati. And Evan McPherson, I think that's his name, just kicked the game-winning field goal. And it was funny because we were headed to my company Christmas party, and we were listening to the last couple of minutes of that game in overtime. And it was obvious that on NFL radio on Sirius XM, they were piping in the Vikings feed because the announcer was, it sounded like he was calling play-by-play of a funeral for his best friend. So, poo-poo, boo-hoo, boo-hoo, the Vikings lose again, snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. So, good for the Bengals. And you know what? They put themselves, I think, in the sixth spot in the AFC playoff hunt. So, because now they're 8-6. And they got a bunch of teams that are 7-6, and so we'll see what happens this week, of course, or excuse me, the rest of this week. But they did themselves good by coming back from what was really a lackluster performance the entire first half.
No, it was, and if you look at it, you're right. You've got the Bengals who have now slid into that sixth spot. The Colts, who also won yesterday, beat the brakes off of Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, you might as well go ahead and call that thing a day. Now, you will get Kenny Pickett back next week, but I think it's safe to say, Mike Babbo, that after what we saw last night and what we've seen through two or three games, really what we've seen over the course of the last 4, 5, 6 years, whatever you want to call it, Mitch Trubisky, I don't know that I would sign him on a roster after this year. He does zero for you. For a guy that's been in the league for as long as he has, he brings you no discernible quality other than the fact that he's a human who has a right arm who can throw it 10 to 15 to maybe 20 yards from time to time. But that's about it because he brings you nothing else.
Not a big fan, are you, Freddie? Listen.
Look, think about it this way, just real quick, and you tell me, right? And it's not even that I'm a big fan. It's just that, look,
you're not.
Well, look, it's not even. Well, it's not that I'm not a fan. I could care less about Mitch Trubisky one way or the other. But let's call it what it is. This guy who was a number 2 overall pick. Look,
that's not his. Wait, time out. That's not his fault. It's not his fault that the Bears.
It is his fault.
No, it's not. It's not his fault that the Bears traded up to take him number 2 overall. He's doing the best as he can. That's not on him. That's on the fucking Bears brass for making such a stupid trade.
Look, regardless of whether it's on him or not, that's the reality of it. Is guess what? Somebody thought you were worth a number 2. Look, he was going to be a top 10 pick that year, right? Mitch Trubisky. Look, it's easy to be hindsight being 2020, yes, the idea that Mitch Trubisky was going to be a top 10 pick in 2017.
I don't think he was going to be a top 10 pick. I really do. I mean, we'll have to roll tape on that. Okay, Freddie. Well, you know what? We'll table that. Either way, whatever. Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Real quick. My point is this: is that all I'm saying is this: is that even when you look at, I mean, let's just for the sake of comparison, let's look at Mitch Trubisky and let's look at Zach Wilson. I would make the argument that Zach Wilson still has a place in the NFL. I would beg to differ that Mitch Trubisky does.
Well, no, you're right there because Trubisky has had his chances for sure, and he's never had any flashes of brilliance, whereas Zach Wilson has. And Zach Wilson also, I hear you. And Zach Wilson's also had that Turd Ferguson, Nathaniel Hackett as an offensive coordinator this year, who I have no idea why Robert Saleh brought him in. And Robert Saleh lose his job because of it. But but you're right. I mean, Mitch Trubisky, I think his deal has been played out because with these running quarterbacks and these dual threat quarterbacks in this league, you also get a chance for injury. And your backup quarterback is, like they always say, one play away, and he's so important. Look at Jake Browning. Even Joshua Dobbs had some success. Fuck Joe Flacco, for crying out loud, who was just named a starter for the Cleveland Browns for the rest of the season because of his play last week.
He got himself a $4 million deal. What are you talking about?
Exactly. So, but the point is that it's very important to get a competent NFL backup, and Mitch Trubisky is not it. I mean, he's never really. I mean, I think he had one game where he threw 3 touchdown passes, and neither one of them traveled over 10 yards. No, this was with Chicago. So he's just not – I hear you. He's not good. But, again, I don't fault him for being the one for being the number 2 or number 3 overall pick in that draft. I mean, that's just on the Bears. That's Mike McCaskey or, whoever thought that he was something. But either way, I mean, it's just it's really, really important for you to get a backup that's really good and that can take you at least into the playoffs because – you never know when that guy's going to have to come up. I mean, Aiden O'Connell is not supposed to be the starting quarterback for the Raiders. He's supposed to be holding the clipboard. Jimmy Garoppolo is supposed to be the quarterback. That's why they paid him 3 years, $72 million or whatever the hell it was. To teach Aiden O'Connell. Now he's starting. Either way.
Let's see. By the way, and of course, I had to do this because apparently
you had to do this.
There were several draft reports coming out in 2017 that had Mitch Trubisky as their number 1 quarterback.
That's fucking crazy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, look,
over Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson, that's crazy.
Yeah, because look, the thing
come on.
We can call it a couple things. One, the race factor is always going to play an issue, whether we agree with it or not. I mean, that's the reality. Okay, you've got 2 black quarterbacks who, at the time, people were like, well, the problem with Mahomes was he was coming out of a system that everybody was like, all right, look, we've seen guys come out of the system before and never do squat, right? Then you had Deshaun Watson, who we didn't know he was a prevert, and we didn't know if he could, be up more than that Clemson offense. And then you had your boy Trubisky, who was the quote unquote safe pick because he pro style offense, big arm, that sort of thing. White guy, whatever, can process things fast. Well. Here we are 6 years later, and like I said, one guy may be the biggest prevert in the history of the National Football League. One might be the greatest quarterback in the history of the National Football League. And one's just a bum. And that's Mitch Trubisky. So
all I got to know, aside from Clemson quarterbacks, all I got to know is that he came from the ACC, and I'm done.
Well, in fairness, your boy Deshaun did too.
That's what I said, except for Clemson quarterbacks.
Yeah. By the way, did you know, and we learned this from talking to Mahomes' dad, Mahomes Sr., the Bears had told Mahomes that they were going to draft him. Going into the draft, the week of the draft, they told the Mahomes family, we are going to take you at number 2. And then when the call came and they took Mitch Trubisky instead, and look,
you're not mad about that, are you?
Look, I want to thank the Chicago Bears for being the inept, just doldrum-dwelling franchise that they are.
Dipshit franchise.
Because, look, man, who in there? Look, I would have taken, and again, it's easy to do this now with hindsight being 2020 and everything that's happened in the last 6-7 years. But all I'm saying is, if you gave me Mitch Trubisky, okay, and there's nothing about his ability, even back then where you thought, wow, this dude's got a fucking hand cannon. Whereas on the other hand, you got a dude who's over here throwing, 65, 70-yard in-air bombs off of 1 foot, right? And oh, by the way, his dad was a professional athlete. Like, that's what got me to buy into the Mahomes thing. Not so much his freakish athletic ability, but it was the pedigree. Like, when I heard that this dude, like, grew up, in Mets and Yankee locker rooms, I was like, okay, wait a minute. This dude gets it. Like, this guy understands the work that needs to go into it. Whether or not he ever becomes something special, we'll wait and see. But I was kind of excited by the fact that you had a guy who had basically been trained to be a professional athlete his entire life, and now you're getting with maybe one of the greatest offensive minds of all time. Never mind the fact that he doesn't know how to draft a fucking receiver, but that's another story for another time. So that being said, real quick, we'll just recap what we saw yesterday. Like I said, nothing special. Bengals win. We talked a little bit about that. Gardner Minshew and the Colts took care of business. We already mentioned about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then, of course, last night, I guess the biggest takeaway from last night was what? Sean Payton screaming at Russell Wilson on the sideline?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I didn't watch the game because I was at my company Christmas party, but I did see some highlights. All I noticed is that Sam Laporte now has 9 touchdown passes and almost 900 yards of receiving.
Oh, he's balling.
This kid. Now we know why the Lions were all too eager to get rid of. Not get rid of, but they traded T.J. Hawkinson within their division.
Yeah,
who's a solid tight end. They say, you know what, Vikings
tight end,
huh?
Well, he's a damn good tight end.
He's a damn good tight end, right? But they found a diamond, man. I mean, they found a baller. This guy is he's got a great future ahead of him.
Which, by the way, the fact that he was available when the Chiefs drafted it at 32 is just a little bit sickening to me, considering the fact that you had, and that's something that you and I have talked about. Like it was draft malfeasance. The fact that you had such a loaded tight end draft. I mean, this was one of the best tight end classes we've seen, maybe ever.
Yeah, Michael Mayer, the tight end out of Notre Dame. I mean, he was a 4-time All-American. I mean, his only problem is that he's not getting the ball enough. Although I think he got 6 targets yesterday on Thursday. So, but yeah, you're right.
Well, think about it this way, Mike. You got 3 rookie tight ends this year who are all making significant contributions. Obviously, Laporta being the leader in the clubhouse. You got your boy Mayer, who you already mentioned, who again, if you had, which again, and he's doing it on a much different scale in the standpoint of just how dilapidated that football team's been. Whereas if he was in a, consistent offense like Detroit, he might be putting up similar numbers. And then you got the Kincaid kid over in Buffalo, right? Yeah. So you've got 3 tight ends, and guess how many of the Chiefs took? 0, which, like I said, but there's some slapdick on Twitter right now over here jerking off Noah Gray, telling me how great he is. So whatever, Oh, he's the best backup tight end in the NFL.
Best backup tight end in the NFL.
If that's where we're at, right? And look, I'm all for depth. Okay, well, you and I both get it. Okay, you got to have. It's a next man up type of world that we live in. But again, look. When you've won Super Bowls, and again, I've taken the tack, Mike Babbo, that I'm done complaining. Although you and I could have a different tenor when if and when the Chiefs get bounced out of the playoffs this year. I'm just backing off. I'm backing off. I'm not gonna look. As great as Veach has been, this is his mulligan. It has to be. I mean, he has to get. You got to give him a mulligan. His drafting was dismal. All right. And his free agency was dismal. You spent $20 million on the worst right tackle in football, or one of the worst right tackles in football. You spent your number 1 draft pick on a D end who's gotten, 50, 60, 80 snaps all year long, when you had other pressing issues that you needed to address, and you haven't done that. And we already know about the wide receiver position. Oh, by the way, do you think Veach is paying the $150 or $50 grand for our boy Mahomes' fine that he got hit with this week.
And Reed's, right? I mean, well, between the
Reed
two of
bears
them.
the brunt. No, Reed gets to pay his. Reed gets to pay his because guess what, Andy Reid? At no time did you step in and say, no, we got to get my guy a wide receiver or two. Okay. So I lump Andy Reid and Brett Veach as being responsible for the wide receiver situation.
Sure.
Because if we're going to laud Andy Reid and rightfully so for everything he's done.
Fred, my point is that between the I thought that Andy Reid got fined $100,000 and Patrick Mahomes had 50, and Patrick Mahomes had 50, not Mahomes paying getting fined all 150. That's all.
No. Yeah, no. Andy Reid got fined $100,000. Mahomes got fined 50. So my thing is, look, Veach, you should be paying Pat Mahomes' fine. You better be paying his fine because the only reason he's getting fined is because of what you did to this offensive, to this wide receiver room. Hence why our boy blew up the way he did. So it'll be interesting to see. And let's just call today's game what it is. All right, I mean. Look, I think it's going to be an ugly game. I really do. I think the Chiefs are going to do enough to win. I think it's going to be like a 23-9, 23-16, 23-13, something like that. You got a good fight. You got a good Patriot defense. I mean, like you and I talked about yesterday, Mike, the only thing for the Chiefs is don't get anybody of any significance hurt today and don't look like a complete abomination. That's it.
Well, for me, I mean, this is important for the offense to show what they can do against a very highly ranked New England defense. I mean, really, because they're going to get a lot of opportunities because the Patriots offense is dead fucking last in the NFL in scoring, right? I think they're at like 13 points a game, just absolutely terrible. So they're going to get a lot of opportunities. The Chiefs offense is. This is going to be another opportunity for them to showcase Rashee Rice and get him more touches, and for the rest of the wide receiver room to get right. Even against this good defense. So, and the most compelling story, let's face it, is what the Patriots and Robert Kraft are going to do with Bill Belichick at the end of the season. I mean, there's been a lot of rumors swirling around about what they're going to do. I mean, whether this is his last year. Now that Brandon Staley has been fired from the Chargers job, is that going to be an ideal? Of course, and then Telesco, I think that was his name, as the GM.
Yeah.
So it opens up nicely for the de facto GM and head coach Bill Belichick to go there, move across the country. I'm not sure if that's really going to happen, too, Fred, because for as much as we talk about the LA Rams having salary cap problems, the LA Chargers have salary cap problems as well. And so that is a very, very tough situation that he would be going into. But that's really the most compelling story in this game here. I think the Chiefs, I agree with you. I think the Chiefs win ugly. I think it's something like 28-10. For the second week in a row, both Isaiah Pacheco with his shoulder and left tackle Donovan Smith with his neck are out today. So the running back duties fall upon Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Jerick McKinnon to share snaps, and we'll see what Patrick Mahomes can do. But you're right. I mean, the most important thing for the Chiefs to do is to get the heck out of here with a victory and get out healthy, because their next game, Christmas Day, at home against the Raiders, and that is a big one. I don't care what.
And that game's in Kansas City, though, isn't it?
It's in Kansas City. The Raiders are riding high. They just absolutely bitch slapped the Chargers. When was the last time, Freddie, have you seen a football team be directly responsible for the firing of two head coaches and two GMs in the same year? Right? The Raiders got their own fired, and then they got a division rival fired.
That's a great question. That's a good point.
So, the Raiders just came out. They just opened up the playbooks. They said, "Fuck it." I mean, they had two halfback passes by Jacoby Myers, who was a high school quarterback, one for a touchdown. He caught a touchdown and threw a touchdown pass. So that was great to see.
That's 16 fantasy points for those of you scoring at home.
There you go.
On your roster.
And if you've been,
I'm so glad. I'll tell you what, I feel like Bill Belichick when it comes to my fantasy football teams this year. For somebody that has, been kind of a look, when I look at my career of fantasy football, okay, look, I still got my fastball, all right. I still got the chops. I still made a couple, but I made a mistake this year, Mike Babbo, in that I signed up for 3 teams. Okay, and that's too many.
Too many. It's like too many. Certainly one too many.
And it just look, we didn't make the playoffs in any league. Or actually, no, I take that back. I made the playoffs in 1 league this year, out of 3. So we're gonna when the season's over, Mike Babbo, we're gonna get back with the team. We're gonna talk about where the mistakes we made, what we need to do better next year. And look, I may take a sabbatical in 2024. I haven't decided yet. It may be time to just take a step back, go Sean Payton, sit out a year, kind of see what the terrain looks like, and we'll come back strong in 2024.
Are you gonna live stream your postseason press conference? Because I'd like to see that. I think that'd be quite interesting.
I'm not taking any questions. I'm not taking any questions.
Well, there are a lot of questions you got to answer, Freddie D. I mean, really.
I'm not taking any questions this year. We're gonna put out a release. We'll do it later on after the season's over. But we just got to reflect on just kind of getting back to basics, Mike.
Fred, I highly question that philosophy and that strategy, because I think you need to get out in front of it, really. Just
I do need to get out in front of it. It's just
you need to be a man and stand up to the press and just take the arrows, because your fans want to know. Okay.
Look, I did some very uncharacteristic things this year. Okay.
You drafted Kyle Pitts again. You didn't learn from your last lesson.
I drafted Kyle Pitts again. That was number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2, but there was at least 2 or 3 times this year where I would get sidetracked in the middle of a roster lineup change, or in the middle of looking for ways to improve my roster on the big Tuesday before the big waiver claims or what have you. And there were several guys that I was going to pick up and then decided don't at the last second, and those guys went on to have huge days. And then your boy, I had 2 losing records. I lost to a dead guy. Okay, and I'm losing.
Yeah, that's bad.
I'm losing to him again. All right, shout out, R.I.P. to my boy Colin, and I'm losing to him again. So it's been that's the kind of season it's been, Mike Babbo. That's the kind of season it's been. I know everybody here in Houston is all pissed off and up in arms about. The Tennessee Titans are going to be wearing the Houston Oilers uniforms today, and they're basically calling themselves the Houston Oilers today. And Oilers fans are upset, Texans fans are upset. How dare they? Blah 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 blah. Well, look, okay. Guess what? This is what I say, and I know this is unpopular because I'm not a native Houstonian. When your franchise leaves, guess what? This is what happens. Okay, like this is there's and look, you guys know. I love Houston. I love Houston.
Yeah.
But guess what, Houston? You are one of the few sports cities in America that's ever lost a team, and all the pain and heartache that goes with it.
And it didn't belong to you in the first place. It belonged to Bud Adams.
Yeah, be mad.
You can be pissed off that he. Yeah, you can be pissed off that he packed up his shit and moved on to Tennessee, but you still can't claim ownership of it because let's face it, the only publicly owned team is the Green Bay Packers. They're not going anywhere.
Which, by the way, and you having lived in Houston back in the day, Mike, I did an interview once upon a time with Mac Hike, who folks know around here in the Houston area, being the big businessman that he is. He's got his hand in pretty much all kinds of things. If you've read his First Watch, he's part owner of that. I'm sure plenty of folks have bought a car from him before. But he said that he was in the room for the negotiations between the city of Houston and Bud Adams when all this was going on. And they could have gotten a deal done, but the city got pissed off, and then Bud Adams got mad and said, you know what? fuck it, I'm out. And that was the end of it. And we all know the rest of it. And of course, shout out to Bob McNair coming in a couple years later. Bada bing, bada boom. The rest is history.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it. Look,
there's a lot of blame to go around when a team moves.
There's a lot of blame to go around.
And it's blame on both sides. People hate on Al Davis for what he did in 1980. I think it was 1982 when he moved the Raiders to Los Angeles. They hated on Mark Davis. But you know what? Fuck the city of Oakland and fuck the county of Alameda, because they are the ones who basically gave him the middle finger when all Al Davis wanted was luxury suites at the Oakland Coliseum. He wanted a locker room for his players that befitted a Super Bowl champion, for crying out loud. They told him no. And then Pete Rozelle said to Oakland and Alameda County, said, hold your ground, because there's no way that we'll allow him to move. Well, Al Davis said, oh yeah, hold my beer. And he did, and he won. He beat the NFL, he beat Oakland, he beat Alameda County, and for that they were just absolutely pissed off at him, because the entities, what they call the Joint Powers Authority, who own collectively the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum, are a bunch of gainfully unemployed losers. Okay, so exactly. So they share a lot of the blame. Just in like any other situation, when a team moves. Anyway, whatever. We got a slate of games that we got to go through. We got what? We got an hour before.
Who do you like in this Tennessee Houston?
Oh, match? I like Tennessee. I mean, I'm not. Davis Mills is going to take over.
Case Keenum is starting today.
Oh, Case Keenum is whatever. Same. I mean, Case Keenum, Davis Mills, I don't know, whatever.
Well, I would give Case Keenum a slight, nod over Davis.
Sorry, no Nico Collins, no Tank Dell, Noah Brown is supposed to play, but you know what? He's hurt. I mean, I don't care if last week he was listed as active and he was invisible. Look, I love what DeMeco Ryans is doing, but this is in Tennessee, and shoot, on the flip side, look what Will Levis did. Went into Miami and outlasted the Dolphins.
Well, not just that, but I mean, hell, you're talking about he put up 2 touchdowns in the last 4 minutes and change.
Yeah,
come back and win this game.
I mean, the Dolphins were up like 28-13 or something like that, right?
They were. It was 20.
With 5 minutes left.
It was 27-13. It was 27-13.
27-13 with 3.5 minutes left in the game, and boom. I don't know if that has to do with two. Oh, I like the Titans.
Okay, give me on that.
Give me the Titans. 27-20.
27-20. You and I are of like mind. I've got Tennessee winning this ball game 20-17. Just for the simple fact that you got a rookie you got a rookie quarterback and you got a veteran in Case Keenum. Case Keenum will do enough not to turn the ball over. That's kind of what he does. And the Texans have been very clear that a big part of why C.J. Stroud has played so well this year and why he's had such a seamless transition, in addition to just what they've done from a team standpoint and coaching staff, but a lot of it's had to do with Case Keenum and his guidance and his tutelage along the way. So while we love all that about Case Keenum, I just think Tennessee will do enough today. Like you said, they played spoiler last week in Miami, and I expect them to do it again today. And I think we're going to find out today. Just this is kind of the first real adversity that you're going to see from a Texans team, because again, look, going into the season, nobody expected shit out of the Texans. This was just look better than you did last year.
Oh yeah.
Let's see what DeMeco does. Let's see what Bobby Slowick does. Well, now all of a sudden, 2 weeks ago, you were the it team, right? Like the Texans were the it team that when you looked at their schedule, you thought to yourself, okay, this is a team that's going to make the playoffs. Then you go out and you get beat. Who the hell did they get beat by last week?
By the Jets.
By the Jets. That's right. So
they got stomped by the Jets.
And exactly. They didn't just get beat by the Jets. They got stomped by the Jets, okay? And again, this is one of those deals where, the Texans have lost some games this year where when you've looked at it, you've said to yourself, okay, they should have been the better team. They should have won the game. They didn't. And that's going to happen when you've got a team that's trying to bounce back the way the Texans are. I just don't think they do enough of it today. Maybe DeMeco Ryans gets his team right. Maybe it is enough for Case Keenum. Would not be surprised. But right now, I like Tennessee to win 2017. You got them winning 27-20. Speaking about the aforementioned New York Jet ET GTS, Jets. They're at Miami today. And the only reason I have this game on this list today is simply because report came out last night that Aaron Rodgers is going to be cleared medically next week to play. And so the Jets, while right now sitting at 5-8, they are on the outside looking in. If they were somehow, some way to find a way to win today and go up to and improve their record to 6-8, suddenly the idea of Aaron Rodgers coming to play next week doesn't look so crazy.
No. And let's face it, Zach Williams had the what can I say? Who gives a fuck attitude? Let's just go out there and play with some reckless abandon. And he did. And he had his best game as a pro.
Yeah, he did.
He finally gave the defense a break. And so they're – but the problem is that they're playing in Miami. But, Miami's banged up. No Tyreek Hill. He was listed as inactive with his ankle injury. Devon A-Chain, he's out. Listed as inactive. It came out about a half an hour ago. So all you people on your fantasy or your knockout leagues that have Tyreek Hill on your roster, get him the fuck out because he is not playing. Devon A-Chain, he's listed as, I think he's listed as questionable, but he is set to play. Raheem Mostert is set to play, but Tua also was banged up a little bit, and Tua fucking pissed me off because he laid an egg on Monday night against the Tennessee Titans, a 22nd ranked defense.
Okay.
No. I know. Listen, I know he had a center out. I know he had like 3 linemen out, but God damn it. He just. No.
I'm not saying that. I'm just asking you now. No. My question for you is this: is that after what you've seen, because let's call it what it is. He's been the knock on him for the last couple seasons. The guy can't stay healthy. On the one hand, okay, we've seen a healthy Tua Tagovailoa this year, right? Like, well, I'll give him that benefit of the doubt. Like, okay, we've seen number one stay healthy all year long. On the flip side of that, though, when you got Tyreek and Jalen Waddle to throw to, it's easy to look pretty dadgum good, but he's looked pretty average when those guys aren't playing well, right?
Oh, when Tyreek went out in the first quarter with that ankle injury, the whole offense changed, Fred.
Totally went off of fire.
I mean, they just they didn't do anything but run the ball. Now they did get into the red zone, but what did he do? He fumbled that snap on the 7-yard line, and that game changed on a dime. And only when Tyreek came back in the fourth quarter did the offense change again. But you're right, he's looked average. Here's the other thing too. This year, he has put more of an emphasis. Mike McDaniel has put more of an emphasis on him staying in the pocket, scanning the field, looking for his wide receivers. Where he gets in trouble, ironically enough, is when he gets flushed out of the pocket and he tries to make something out of nothing. And then he starts throwing it back against the body, throwing into double coverage, throwing interceptions, or getting hurt, right? Which is something they don't want to do. They've told him, so look, scan the field, stay in the pocket, use your offensive line, and if it's not there, throw it away. But we got to keep you upright. And he's been doing that for the most part. But you're right. The schedule has been pretty soft. They lost to some teams that they shouldn't have. They shouldn't have lost to Tennessee.
Well, they haven't beaten a team with a winning record either.
No.
Which we
were calling the Dallas Cowboys the NFC's answer to the New York to the Miami Dolphins. Well, now at least the Cowboys, they beat a team with a winning record.
No, the Cowboys, we're buying into them, the Dolphins, and I'm gonna tell you what, I'm gonna take it a step further. I have them losing today. I really do. And I'm gonna take it a step further than that too. Okay. And look, I get it. I understand the whole Mike McDaniel, and he's cool, and he's got the whole, he's a recovering addict, and I'm all for that. And my hat's off to him as somebody who can't drink responsibly either. So I respect that. But I'll tell you what, though, he's kind of a cornball. Okay, like he's kind of a cornball. Like I watched.
He's quirky. He's quirky for sure.
I mean, I'm gonna stick with cornball. I'm gonna stick with cornball, and I'm gonna tell you why. I'm watching the in-season Dolphins. Whatchamacallit? What the hell's that show?
Oh, Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks.
Okay, so they're the team that they're using for the in-season Hard Knocks is the Miami Dolphins. And look, man, I get it. He's different. Like you said, he's quirky and what have you. But I just feel like his act would wear thin for me. Again, I'm not saying he's not a good head coach and what he's doing, but like I said, I don't know. I watched him the other day on that show, and I was like, God, he's kind of corny. Anyway, I like the Jets.
That works. It works if you're winning. I mean, if it doesn't,
you just nailed the head. You just hit the nail on the head. When you're winning, it works. Like I said, he's kind of a goofball to me. I like the Jets to win 20-17. You know me, I'm a big fan of Zach Wilson. I'm on the Zach Wilson train today, so I like them to win 20-17. I may pick all my games today, 20-17, but no, they do enough today. I like what the defense is doing, and I just feel like because you've got Aaron Rodgers potentially on the horizon. If you can come out, find a way to win today, and you get back to 6-8, and suddenly now you've got 3 games left with Aaron Rodgers, that changes everything to me. And I'm not 100% convinced that Aaron Rodgers really is ready to play yet. Okay, I just want to see him go out and play for the simple fact of like, okay, look, is this dude really going to go out and come back from an Achilles injury in the same season and come back and play? To me, that would be mine. That would be fascinating if that happens.
I mean,
so that's
great. That's crazy. I mean,
it's insane.
It's insane, and it's typical Aaron Rodgers trying to. I mean, all we heard about the entire NFL offseason, of the top 10 stories, 11 of them were about Aaron Rodgers. In the offseason, it's just like information overload, and I got so sick of it. So first, fucking 4th play of the NFL season for the Jets, he rips his Achilles, and now it's just been nothing, for the last month of when's he going to come back? Is he going to come back? Well, he's not going to come back unless the Jets make a playoff run or in the playoffs. Enough. I'm tired of it. And the other thing too, I mean, you're still going to put him behind that offensive line that sucks so bad.
Well, that's the $1 million question. That's what I want to know.
Well,
and both offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, it's terrible. I mean, the right side is out. Yeah. The starting right side is out. Max Mitchell, their guard, right guard, and Carter Warren, the right tackle, are both out with injuries. So it's going to be a patchwork offensive line for poor Zach Wilson. Look, Zach Wilson had a great game. God bless him. He played like there was no tomorrow for him. He was a dead man walking. I just think that he comes down to earth, and I think the Dolphins take care of business 23-17. 23-14. 23-14.
Okay, 23-14. Better Mike Babbo. All right, real quick. Tampa Bay, Green Bay. The only reason I included this is because you got Tampa Bay, who's leading the NFC South right now. You've got a Green Bay team that's fighting for their playoff lives, and like I said, both of them, if I'm not mistaken, are sitting at 6-7. At the moment, yeah, they're both at 6-7 right now. So that's the reason why I got this game in the mix. Let's see, Tampa Bay, Green Bay, and Green Bay right now is sitting at the 7 seed. So that's why I've got that game in the mix. I'm going to go with Green Bay in this one. The game's at home. They've looked pretty good. Yes, they didn't look great last week, but I think they find a way to win today. I like Green Bay in this one. I like them to win 23-17.
I like Green Bay as well because Lambeau Field is such a tough place to play.
Yes.
It's going to be cold, and Tampa Bay is a warm weather team. I like what Baker Mayfield is doing. I just don't think he has enough. Mike Evans is an All-Pro wide receiver. Rashad White's having a great season. Rashad White is, I just think boy, I'm trying to change my own mind, aren't I?
By the way, breaking news. This is from your boy Jay Glazer. The Eagles are making a change at D coordinator. First of all, I didn't even realize Matt Patricia was on the Eagles coaching staff.
Really, I didn't either.
They are making a change to where he will run the defense now for the remainder of the season.
We always knew that he could coach the D. Why? Belichick had him coaching the offense.
Matt Patricia, as a D coordinator, tremendous. Leave him at that.
Yeah.
Head coach and offensive coordinator, not so much. Not so much. Cowboys and Bills. We'll finish it. We'll wrap it up with this. Cowboys and Bills, Ravens and Jaguars, two tremendous games. Cowboys, Bills, that's obviously going to be the afternoon game today. And then, of course, you got Ravens, Jaguars. That's going to be the Sunday night game tonight, going down at around, 7:30. Cowboys, Bills, this is a must-win game for the Buffalo Bills. I think they find a way to win this game. Buffalo's tough, man. And again, they're playing with the proverbial backs against the wall, nothing to lose. Insert do or die cliche here. I like Buffalo to do just enough. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a high-scoring game. I like Buffalo to win 31-27.
I'm thinking Buffalo 31-21. I like Buffalo. You know what? Buffalo and Josh Allen showed me a lot going into a hostile Arrowhead Stadium. And granted, I know there was a lot of controversy, but you know what? That's not. I mean, that offsides was not the reason why Kansas City lost that game, because Josh Allen played well. He was responsible for, I think, 3 touchdowns, right? I mean, he ran 4 and threw for another.
Yeah, no, he was responsible for 3.
Okay, 3 touchdowns. Okay, threw 2, ran for another. He showed me something, especially because his home road splits have not been that good this year. Well, this last week he really showed something. So I like the Bills to really take it to the Cowboys today.
Okay, no, I'm with you on that. Last but certainly not least, Ravens, Jags. You know, it's funny to me, and look, I get it. Their receiving core is a little bit better than the Chiefs right now, and I totally understand that. But you know, it was funny. I'm watching the pregame shows this morning, and everybody's like, "Oh, you know, the AFC. I don't trust the." Everybody keeps saying they don't trust the Chiefs to win on the road because in the last 5 or 6 years, the AFC Championship's been in Kansas City. And yet, when they explain why they like Baltimore, and that seems to be the chic pick right now in the AFC. Oh, they're great defense. They've got a quarterback that can make plays, and they've got a great coaching staff. I mean, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, well, that's funny, you guys all. I mean, it's funny because everything you just mentioned, the Chiefs have the exact same thing, but yet we're over here but yet you're going to tell me that for some reason you have more faith in a Baltimore team to win on the road, which, by the way, when they were a number 1 seed a few years ago, they got beat at home by the Tennessee Titans. But yet that group somehow, some way, because they have one more wide receiver better than the Chiefs, are that much better than the Chiefs to win on the road?
Well, the reason why they win on the road is through the ground. They are number 1 in rush yards per game at 150.
No, I'll give you that. I will give you that they do have a much better rush running game than
right,
Chiefs.
And they're in the middle of the pack on rush defense too. They only allow like 104 yards per game on defense, so not too shabby either. So listen, when you want to win on the road, any head coach worth a darn will tell you, you've got to be able to run the ball and you got to be able to stop the run. And so that's what they do. They do both of those things really well, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I like Baltimore here. I just Lamar Jackson still has to take care of the football, but so does Trevor Lawrence. I mean, I just like Baltimore in this game.
I'm going to go Jacksonville 23, Baltimore 20. I like, this is a must-win game for. Let me walk that off. It's not a must-win game for Jacksonville. It's a must-win in the sense of, like we've talked about, if there's as the kids say, there's levels to this, okay? And Jacksonville is still in that second tier of AFC dominant teams, right?
Sure.
Because if they lose today, right?
Well, they're in a tie for the AFC South with Indianapolis.
Not just that, but it's like if they lose today to the Jacks, or excuse me, if they lose today, and by the way, they're at home. This is a home game for Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Okay. If you lose to Baltimore, this just goes on and tells us, all right, look, Jacksonville's good, but they're not ready for prime time, right? Like, this is a team that's still scuffling to try to get ahead. And so, to me, there's question marks about Doug Peterson. And really, there's question marks about Trevor Lawrence. Is he, bona fide elite quarterback in the National Football League? He's got all the talent. We know what he can do when he's on fire. When he's hot, he's as good as anybody. But again, there's just so many times where he makes dumb throws, where he makes questionable decisions, where he holds on to the ball too long, or his O-line doesn't give a chance to make a play. So if Jacksonville is going to take that next step, whether it's in their minds or whether it's in the hearts of NFL football fans, you need to go out and win a game like today. Because I would ask you the question, Mike Babbo, what's the win when you're Jacksonville this year that says to you, oh, this team's ready to take it to another level?
I mean, the only one close is the win on the road in Houston, like 3 weeks ago.
What's that? And think about that. Really?
I know, but you asked me the question, and that's the only one I can. I agree with you. That's the only one I can come up with, right? Yeah, I mean, it's not a big win. It's not like you. Well, no, wait, time out. And again, this is a neutral site, but they did beat the Bills. I think it was in London, right? Or I think it was Germany. Maybe it was in Germany. Either way, it was across the pond. It was in London. They did beat the Bills, and that's when everybody thought, hey, the Bills are for real. The Bills are, AFC favorite to go to the Super Bowl, right? And they kind of they burst that bubble on that. So that's their one signature win of this year. But again, it's in a neutral site. There really is no statement, like you said. There's no statement victory that they can make. Listen, I mean, coming off a bye, they got their asses kicked by the Niners at home, and they are 3-4 at home. I mean, can you imagine if they lose to Jacksonville? They end up 5 of their 6 losses would be in their own yard. Yeah, and that's not good.
It's a bad look. Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. And if there's a team that you could snipe at home, it would be the Baltimore Ravens. Because for as good as Baltimore is, I mean, look, we've seen them lose to the Colts this year. And do we really think the Colts were that much better than the Jaguars? I don't think so.
No.
And this is one of those games where if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, if you can get a win today, if you can get a win today, I think that says a lot about where you're at heading into the postseason. So,
sure.
Real quick, last thing. So you and I both agree. We got the Chiefs winning today over the New England Patriots. You and I both have Tennessee beating the Houston Texans today. We are split. You've got Miami winning today. I've got the Jets. You and I are both in agreement that we both think Green Bay is going to win. We both think the Buffalo Bills are going to win. You've got the Ravens winning today. And I, my friend, am going with the Jacksonville Jaguars to win. Also, too, this news just came in right before we started the show that the Philadelphia Eagles have downgraded Jalen Hurts tonight, or have downgraded him today. Whether that means he won't play tomorrow remains to be seen. But apparently he's been sick. It got worse yesterday, and he flew separately to Seattle. So he will be. I don't know if he's going to be a game time decision tomorrow, but I guess he's questionable at the moment. So there you go. Everybody's sick right now. Everybody's sick. So look, they say there's a new COVID variant, which I'm sure there is. Who knows? Okay. Look,
whatever.
I know one thing. At least the Chiefs won't catch it. That's right. I'm talking to all you people out there. All right. Well, look. Week 15. I'm excited about it. We got a good slate of games today. And by the way, you got that Philly Seattle game tomorrow as well, which again, if you're Seattle, that's it. If you're Seattle playing tomorrow, like that you're playing for your playoff life.
Yeah, this is your swan song.
If you lose tomorrow, that's a wrap.
Yeah, it's flatline. Yeah.
That's a wrap. Real quick, last thing. Are you in any Survivor leagues going on, or is all yours done? Where are you at on that, Mike?
No. I mean, thanks to fucking Tua's terrible performance last week, I got bounced out of the one knockout league. I won. Well, I split the pot on the Survivor League last week when I chose the Saints. Me and the surviving guy both chose the Saints. And in my league that I'm the commissioner of, I'm in the losers bracket, unfortunately. Yeah.
I'd heard.
Even though I was out of 12 teams, I was 4th in scoring. I ended up in 7th place, which is just fucking terrible, but whatever. That's all right. And it's kind of a bummer too, when you're in this kind of limbo status. Do I care? Yeah, I do care, because the loser of the toilet bowl has to eat the same number of hot dogs that Joey Chestnut did, 63, in a 7-day span. And I already got a note from my doctor saying, Mike Babbo is not eating no fucking hot dogs. So I'll probably do some. You know what? I'll probably do like 24 hours total in a soup kitchen or something like that. I don't know. I got to come up with something, but there's no fucking way I'm eating 63 hot dogs in a week.
So let me get this straight. Part of y'all's deal is whoever loses has to eat as many over a 7-day span.
So here's how it works. We've got a 12-team league. The top 6 teams go into the playoffs for the money. Okay. The bottom 6 teams, and this is to make sure that people are motivated to manage their rosters throughout the regular season, right? Because you know how it is with some guys in their bottom of the barrel, they don't set their rosters. They keep guys on bye on the active list, and it's just screws up the integrity of the league. Anyway, so the bottom 6 go into the losers bracket. Teams 11 and 12, they get a bye. Okay. 7 plays 10, 8 plays 9. The loser of those 2 matches has to keep playing. The winner is out. Okay. So let's suppose 10 and 9 lose. So then 10 and 9 will play in the second round against 11 and 12.
Okay.
The loser of those 2 matches plays in the final toilet bowl. The loser of that toilet bowl has to perform the punishment.
So were you the loser in the toilet bowl?
No. This is round 1 of the playoffs, right? Okay. So 11 and 12, they're sitting there waiting for who they're going to play because they only have the teams right now, they have 3 opportunities to win a game and not be punished.
Yeah.
11 and 12, because they suck so bad, they only have 2 opportunities.
Yeah.
Next week and the week after to win a game and not be punished.
So just win a game and you're out and you're good.
Win a game and you're out. You don't have to worry about eating hot dogs.
So you need to win this week.
Yeah. Thank you. I need Brock Purdy, George Kittle, and CMC to fucking go off.
No, they will. They will.
My
was on the sideline for the Chiefs Patriots game.
Oh, good. Who's he dating? You know, whatever.
No, he's a big. Well, he's friends with Bob Kraft. Or no, I'm sorry. Right. He's friends with Bill. He's friends with Bill Belichick. That's what it is. He's friends with Bill Belichick. So there you go.
Jersey.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Look, we're about 2 minutes away from kickoff. I'm excited. My Chiefs are taking on the Patriots. So
I'm excited because my Raiders stomped on the fucking worthless Chargers.
You just watch football and enjoy yourself today.
Yeah, I'm gonna go wash the car. Probably hit some balls. Yeah,
that's it. That's it.
It's great.
Ladies and gentlemen, go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's a parting shot because I love the fact that the Raiders on national television beat the Chargers because I'll tell you this. I'm on a Chiefs show because I don't like the Chiefs, but I respect them. I respect the organization. I respect what Lamar Hunt did for the NFL and for the Kansas City community. And they also have a winning record. They've got 3 Super Bowls, I believe. Well, one championship, I think. 3 and 3 Super Bowls or 2 Super Bowls. Anyway, the Charger fans, I hate them with a fucking passion for the same reason I hate Viking fans, because they talk a ton of shit. They're obnoxious. They're boorish, and they haven't won a fucking thing. Okay. Your trophy case is empty. And so I loved the fact that we absolutely fucked you in the ass last night, 63-29 or whatever it was.
Mike is on one today. Mike is on one today.
For the rest of the NFL, enjoy your Sunday.
That's it. Be sure to follow if you want more of what you just heard. Get some of that over at The Bitter Mike on both Twitter and Instagram. Even though he never publishes anything on Instagram, follow me at The Pretty D on both X and Instagram as well. And then just for the sake of doing it, be sure to follow our boy Henry Thomas NFL. You will be glad that you did. For the one, the only Bitter Mike, I'm still that dude Freddie D from H-Town to Kansas City, San Antonio, and all points in between. Everybody enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy the NFL. Go Chiefs. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Boom. Done.